Hey guys, this is the second insight for the week, number 2. We're in section 29, and we've just talked about the discussion and the introduction. We've had the discussion on the introduction in the first one, so if you missed that, go look at it. We're going to go over now to verse 7. Now, verse 7 is, we know the how, that was in verse 4, and we covered verse 5, but verse 4 is about how it's going to happen, the second coming. Verse 5 is just a really nice one about us. And verse 7 is the who. Who is involved in the second coming? Well, all of us, but who exactly? So this tells us a bit more. So verse 7 says, "And ye are called to bring to pass the gathering of mine elect, for mine elect hear my voice and harden not their hearts." So actually, why is in verse 8, so we'll carry on there too. It says, "Wherefore the decree hath gone forth from the Father, that they shall be gathered in unto one place upon the face of this land, to prepare their hearts, and be prepared in all things against the day when tribulation and desolation are sent forth upon the wicked." So that's the why. We're going to be gathered. It's okay, gathered where? And to be gathered now is to be gathered into our stakes, no matter where we are in the world. There's still talk of being gathered into one place at the second coming. Again, it can mean a couple of different things. There we go again. It can mean a couple of different things. I think, to me, it's like, I don't think we're going to get a call to all go to America. And some people still believe that. As we can see through COVID, if it was the end of the world, we literally wouldn't be able to go because the borders get shut. So unless you're going to break the law and hump the border, which is not a good thing, it's just not going to happen. So it's about being gathered in your stakes. Maybe we gather online. There's lots of different ways we can gather now. So think about that gathering. I'm not entirely sure around that, and it's been, talked about, but that's another thing. We're going to talk though about who is elect, and how do you qualify to be elect? Because that sounds like a really fancy thing, like Emma Smith was called an elect lady. So that's like, well, I want to be called elect. So how do we get called elect? Elect is anyone who harkens, is humbled, and willing to be called upon. So it's a beautiful way to be known. And what actions can you take to qualify to be elect? So are you listening? Are you humble in thought and attitude? Are you willing to be called on? Are you ready to act? Now that's the big thing. Willing to be called upon, but are you then ready to act? It's hard sometimes because we're like, yep, we can do it. I know someone in our family who's very good at being, I love service, I'll go and help anybody, and blah, 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 always talking like that. And the minute someone says to them, can you help me with this? It's like, oh, but I'm so busy, and I've got this on, and I've got that on, I've got something else. And it's just like, then don't go around saying, I'm going to be all like willing to help. So this is what you've got to do with the Lord. If you're going to be like willing to help, you can be ready to act. And that's what makes you elect. So sometimes it's going to interrupt our daily schedules, and we're talking again about God's will, and actually it turns out for the better. Saturday this past, and some of you saw the post I did on Instagram, which is really cool. I got a call from a lady I call auntie, but she's not my auntie. She's just a really good friend of the family and love her to bits. Have known her since I was a little kid. And she she needed my help at the Quad State Youth Conference to feed 350 youth. So I gave up my Saturday to go do that. Now, it's not like I had heaps of plans done, but I had plans around, tidying our home and doing things that I wanted to do, things that I had planned. This was my free day. I had been busy all last week. That was my free day. And I gave it up because I felt it was right. I felt like, I had a free day. I had planned it, so I had a free day. And then God's will was different to my will. But going and doing that, even though physically I was exhausted and hurt afterwards because, ouch, a lot of work. But, oh my gosh, was my joy full. My heart was just bursting to be amongst those wonderful youth, to work with those ladies in the kitchen, to work with the brethren that came in and helped us. Amazing people to work with. And of course, that's what it is. I was listening. I was humble enough to know that that was what I needed to do. I was able to go and do that. I was willing to be asked, and then I was ready to act. So in that instance, you can call me elect. I don't know if I'd be calling myself that. I still feel a bit weird calling myself that. I don't know how you feel about that, but maybe the Lord would call me that. Well, I would hope he would. We'll see. But that's how you qualify anyway. So I'm working on it. I'm not perfect at it, but I'm working on it, as I guess we all are. President Nelson, he said, a necessary prelude to the second coming of Jesus Christ is the long-awaited gathering of scattered Israel. Now, we've been hearing a lot about this lately. We participate as we help to gather the elect of the Lord on both sides of the veil. So that's gathering members of the church, people that have never heard about the church, doing missionary work. Now, there's so many different ways. And elect is anyone that's willing to listen and then act on it. So go help, go inspire and uplift and strengthen and bring them in. Bring yourself in, talk yourself up and to go do that. Because sometimes we need that too. Sometimes we need to look in the mirror and say, hey, look, you are worthy, you can do this. You are quite capable, and go and do it. Sometimes we need that too. So, yeah, that's that one. How do you qualify to be elect? Listen, go act. Be humble with it. Okay, so I'm going to move on to number 3, and that's in verse 8, which I already read, but we're going to read it again because it's super, super good. Okay, see you there.